Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name is David, and this is a magic review. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait, no, that's a deck review. That's a deck review. This is a deck of cards. It is. At the end of the day, this is a deck of cards, and we could easily have put it over on the weekend and included it over there. I've reviewed marked decks over on the weekend, and certainly this is a marked deck, but there is more to this than just a marked deck, because Steve Gore has also included a 1 hour and 18-minute tutorial where he's going to teach you a whole bunch of fun magic tricks that you can do with the flight deck. But first, I'm sure you want to see what it looks like. What separates Magic Orthodoxy from the other magic review channels is I show you the product. I don't only show it to you, but I show it to you nice and close so that you can see everything. You see exactly what your money gets you. I realize that you do not want to stare at my face for 20 minutes. I also realize you don't want to stare at anybody for 20 minutes, and that's why I try to keep all of my videos down to around 10 minutes, just because you're busy. You got other things to do, right? It says flight deck, looks exactly like a deck of cards should. So it doesn't say magic trick or anything like that. Of course, that is Googleable, right? They could Google flight deck and it would come up that it is sold at Penguin Magic, but it should look just like an airplane / Top Gun themed deck of cards. And before we get to the cards, I want to show you that even the inside tuck lining, look at that, filled with red, white, and blue, and really cool fighter jets. All right, so here's your back design. It is pretty much just red, white, and blue stripes, right? Going all the way across, you get a really thin white poker border, and those stripes break the border. Now, as you're going to notice, I said it was a marked deck, but it is not a reader back. Okay, there's nothing on the back of this deck that's really going to help you out. This is a edge marked deck. This is an edge marked deck, and it's very, very creative. And I would add also very easy to read. If you've had edge marked decks before in the past, this is going to be something that is extremely easy to follow and almost, I would say, intuitive. It's very intuitive. You have two jokers. It's just the jet with a trail behind it of red, white, and blue. It says Joker in each corner. And then going through your face cards, your Ace of Spades has a bunch of jets going up, and then your pips and indice cards are going to be black, respectively, red, respectively, with standard dark blue bordered quartz. And so if you're wondering, this is printed by Penguin Magic. It's going to feel like other Penguin Magic printed decks. They have their own printer, right? And if you've got some of their other specialty decks, it's going to look and feel exactly like those decks. All right, so a couple questions we always ask in all of our magic reviews, and the first of which is it what I thought? Well, yes and no. Yes, because I've reviewed other edge marked decks. Butterfly deck, most famously, Deland's Wonder deck is also an edge marked deck. So I was already familiar with what that is. This is an update. So Steve Gore also designed the GPS deck. And so if you have his GPS deck, this is similar, but it's more of an upgrade. I did not have it, so I was not familiar with it. Here's the thing I like about Flight Deck, all right? The thing I like about Flight Deck is I don't have to learn a marking system. I don't, because I already know how cards go in my brain. I know that they go Ace through 10, and then Jack, Queen, King, right? And you're going to follow that pattern in your head. I also understand how suits go, black, red, black, red. Your deck's going to go the same exact way. In fact, the cool thing about Flight Deck is you can give the deck of cards to the spectator, and they can legitimately shuffle it as much as they want. And when they hand it back to you, you could literally find any card within seconds. That's true. Any card within seconds, and cut to it. So that's really cool. I really like that aspect because the markings are very easy to read. And is it well made? Yes, it's made like all the other Penguin Magic decks. The stock is very smooth, very soft, very buttery. It's a really well-made deck. So what's the overall quality and production value of the video? Like I said, it's 1 hour and 18 minutes. Steve Gore is going to be your instructor. He's going to have the advertisement play first so that you see a little bit of that. And then he's going to spend a lot of time running through the marking system. Even though I said it was easy to read, he really wants you to be positive and sure and locked in on it. So he's going to spend about 20 minutes talking to you about the marking system. And then he's going to offer you 7 tricks. One is called perfect visibility. And he's going to have live performances out on the street with real-world spectators and then back in the Penguin Magic studio. Perfect visibility is kind of like an impromptu invisible deck effect, where the spectator can shuffle their cards, name any card, and that card will be turned over. Another trick he will teach you is called take off, and this is where they name a card and they will cut to their chosen card. Another trick you'll learn is called landing, and this is a sandwich effect that you'll do with the 2 jokers. Another trick is called flight code. This is where the spectator is going to write down somebody's birthday. They're going to cut to 4 random cards, and when those cards are turned over, it'll represent their birthday, month, and day. And he'll also teach you a really fun ACAN that comes with a PDF. Pocket space, it's just a deck. It's just a deck. There's nothing to add, take away. There's nothing extra, right? And as far as angles and inspectability goes, I think it's pretty easy for you to see. Okay, it's easy for you to see, like I was saying. Slice and difficulty level, every single one of those card tricks is going to require a different level of expertise, right? So I wouldn't say any of them are out of reach for a beginner, but usually beginners start with reader back cards. Edge mark decks are a little bit more intermediate level, albeit this is a great way to introduce yourself to edge mark decks. If you've never done an edge mark deck before in the past, or you've tried to and you've given up, I think this one is great for beginners, great for someone to start with. But the tricks themselves are not out of reach, but I mean, it would help if you knew a little bit about card magic. So positives, like I was saying, there's so many great things. I mean, it's well made. They're beautiful cards, soft stock, and very easy to read, very easy to get. Like when he teaches you the marking system, you're like, I get it. Because if you hold it in your hands and just stare at it, you're like, yeah, I get it. Ace through 10, Jack through Queen, King and Queen. I get it, right? You get it. And I showed it briefly to somebody else who's very familiar with Magic, and they got it. And they were like, oh wow, that's really easy. So yeah, it's really easy. Negatives, it's really easy. The negative is I think the same, where there's some reader backs that are so clear and so visible. Some people have been worried that a spectator would see it and say, oh, I can see the markings. These markings are very visible. They're very visible. And a spectator could easily just say, why are these stripes and dots on the sides of the deck? They could, but they probably won't, right? I don't think a lot of people look for things like that. But when you're using a deck that's not as familiar to everybody, right? It's not a bicycle deck. And it does have a strange little pattern on it. I think that might draw attention. So the way around that always is if you don't treat it like a mark deck, they won't look for marks. Spectators always look for marks when we draw heat to the deck. If we are comfortable with the deck and we don't treat it like a mark deck, then the spectator won't either. That's the other way around it. The second negative is the fact that it actually says the name of the trick on the box. And so if somebody wanted to Google it, they could Google it and find it at Penguin Magic. So there is that. But $25, it's a pretty good price. Pretty good price for a custom-made edge mark deck. And like I said, you got an hour and 18 minutes worth of tutorial. That's a lot of tutorial for 25 bucks. And custom deck from Penguin Magic, Steve Gore. And come back, because I'm going to do another Steve Gore trick here pretty soon as well. So keep coming back for that as well. Big, huge thanks to Steve and Penguin Magic for allowing me to have this so I could do the review for you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, would you like to learn a magic trick? You would? Did you know I have a second channel? That's right. I have a second channel where I teach beginning level magic tricks. Magic Channel Card Tricks is a place that you can go to learn tricks with ordinary items you can find around the house. Paper clips, rubber bands, pens, and of course, decks of cards. I teach beginning level card tricks, simple card forces that anybody could learn. I also review magic kits. So if you go buy a magic kit from the store, your local Walmart or Target, or you get a magic kit for Christmas, I'll go over exactly what's inside, and I'll even teach you how to perform with some of those tricks that you get inside those kits. Plus, I'm even gonna give you video instruction to very simple, very inexpensive tricks that you can pick up at your favorite magic store. Sometimes you get those tricks and the instructions are just on a tiny little piece of typewritten paper and you have no idea how to do that trick. Don't throw that trick away. Don't put it in a box. Come back to Magic Channel Card Tricks and I will teach you how to use that trick as well. Or maybe you're not a beginner. Maybe you're not a beginner, but maybe you have a niece or a nephew or a little brother or sister that you could share this channel with them. This is a great, safe place, kid-friendly, where they can learn beginning level magic. Make sure you head on over to Magic Channel Card Tricks, give my videos a like, subscribe to that channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being a part of Magic Orthodoxy.